Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. Today I'm going to turn you guys on to a little brand that you've never heard of before, but don't worry, I'll fill you in. I'll let you know everything you need to know. It's a little brand called Armaf. We named Armaf. Yeah, you know them. You know Armaf. They've made what, like 55 different Club de Nuit fragrances at this point, something like that. Pretty sure that's accurate. Yeah, 55. But today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about their newest line, their newest lineup, and it is the Lions Club, which sounds like a club made for guys who think that they're alpha, but maybe they just quite aren't as alpha as they think. Yeah, man, I went to the Lions Club. It's cool. We shot pool and talked about girls. Only guys allowed. Or there is also the Lions Club in the US, which is, I think, a nonprofit organization. It could be that. Or it could be a new lineup of fragrances. So we're gonna be talking about these bad mamma jammas right here today. And also, I went ahead and scooped up some more for you. Little giveaway, because I love you. So yeah, let's talk the Lions Club. I bought these from JOMASHOP. They were $34.99 each, so 35 bucks for each one of these. This one right here took the longest to get to me. But yeah, $35 each. It did take, like, even for these two, like a month and a half for them to actually get to me. And I think that's just because JOMASHOP put stuff up for basically pre-sale a lot of times, and you can buy it and then just sit and wait, basically. You know, basically just stick a thumb up your behind and wait for them to get around to getting it and then get it to you. But they did eventually get to me, so no problems, no big deal. I have noticed other stores have been selling these for like 50, 55. I wouldn't pay that much, because if you can get it for 35 like I did, you know, why pay 55? I mean, sure, maybe you can get it a little bit sooner, but if you wait just a little bit, I'm sure it'll come back into stock at JOMASHOP, Fragrance Buy, wherever, and they should have it for that you know, $35 price. And maybe eventually as time goes on, it dips down even further. So, you know, don't pay $55, $50 or whatever. Or at least that's just my advice. You do you. If you want to pay 55 bucks, man, if that makes you happy, more power to you. I'm just saying, I wouldn't do it. I will have these linked in the description, so feel free to check them out down there. And yes, when I purchased these, I did use my own coupon codes to save money. Thank you for asking. And here are those coupon codes. They do change every couple months, so be aware of that. And they also only work within the JOMASHOP app, so also be aware of that. Then there are other codes here that you can use on websites like Triple Traders, the Perfume Box, Max Aroma, and Fragflex that also have a whole bunch of cologne fragrances. They may or may not have these at the moment, but you know, at some point in the future, they probably will. So we got 3 fragrances here, all 3 in the same presentation style. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the presentation. We'll look a little bit closer at the first one and then kind of go a little bit quicker through the next 2, since essentially the only thing that changes is the color scheme and also the look of the bottle slightly. So we'll go left to right. Let's start with Monarch. First up, the presentation. So it has this slip cover where on the front you have the name of the house, name of the fragrance, and also the name of the line, the Lions Club. You have Armaf on top of the slip cover, and then on the bottom it says the Lions Club. On the back you have your badge code, you have your ingredient information, and your concentration as well, which is eau de parfum, and it is a 100 ml size. You can remove the slip cover like so, and oh, what's that? Yeah, it's a little sheet of paper that you're gonna find in between the box and the slip cover. And that's for each one of these. It basically just gives you a little write-up, like the brief essentially from the brand on the fragrance. So for example, for Monarch here, destined to become your signature scent, Monarch's olfactory supremacy is as prominent as the lion's regal spirit. Here is a confident, unapologetic, and unique blend reserved for those who refuse to settle for the ordinary. A sign of leadership, Monarch is a testimony to the legacy you are building. Oh, now I feel hyped. So here is your box. You can see a little cutaway right there, which is where the lion logo fits. I guess I could put the bottle in there so you could see it like that. He's like in prison, just, you know, kind of chilling. So you have a little pull tab right there so you can pop that bottle out if you need to. It's got a nice foam cutout as well, so it keeps everything nice and squishy. You have on the front of the box the name of the fragrance, name of the house, and also the Lions Club once more. Armaf on top of the box and on the back of the box, and Lions Club on the side of the box. And one more thing, the corners of these boxes are a bit sharp. Not really a big deal, but when I scooped them all up and brought them in here to do the video, they scratched me up a bit, because these edges right here, man, they're not playing. Like, I legitimately just did this deal, whoop, and it kind of scratched my skin right here and left a little divot. Am I basically whining like a small child because I got a will scratch boo-boo? Yes, I am. Let's check out the bottle. So here you have the bottle for Monarch, very reflective, which looks cool as long as you have cleaned off all the fingerprints on the bottle, which you will be spending a lot of time doing if you want it to look nice. Otherwise, fingerprint magnet from Hades. Seriously. So on the front, you have the name of the fragrance, name of the house, the Lions Club, and actually the name of the house once more above that little lion design. And also Armaf on the back of the bottle too, just in case you forgot. Oh, also on the bottom of the bottle, just in case you forgot. Oh, also, it's right here on the back of this leather strap, in case you know already. Armaf, 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 Armaf. Armaf.
Remember the name, sucker.
So the color scheme here, silver, gold, black, and orange. Looks really nice, does feel high-end, feels good in the hand. The most quirky thing about all these bottles here is that, the leather strap right across the middle. So this is a magnetic closure. It looks like a rivet on a pair of jeans, essentially. And when you line it up just right, it snaps into place really easily. But sometimes, for whatever reason, it won't quite hit there where you need it to, and you have to kind of slide it around and hope that it finds its home. And also, because it is a leather strap right in the middle, you have to kind of hold the bottle weird when you spray it, and then that happens sometimes. So sometimes when you go to spray the fragrance, that happens, and you gotta kind of move it out of the way. But other than that, it's nice. Let's really quickly take a look at the other two presentations, but again, most everything else is gonna be the same across these. So with Feroce, you have a gold and green presentation color scheme. The write-up is obviously gonna be different for this fragrance as compared to Monarch. And then this one has kind of a matte rubberized finish to the bottle. So it feels different in the hand, and thankfully is not a huge fingerprint magnet. Also, one other thing, the design on the back of the leather strap is different for each one of the bottles. So nice attention to detail. And while we're doing this one, might as well go ahead and spray this out real quick. Or spray my hand too, heck with it. And then last but not least, Rugir, which has a silver and blue color scheme. Again, the write-up is different. And this one has a little pattern on the bottom of the bottle, and also not a fingerprint magnet. You gotta let me know which one of these three you think has a better looking presentation overall. Obviously very similar, but there are the differences as well. Kind of like the color scheme of Monarch, but I hate the fingerprint magnet, so I'd go to one of these. So there is the presentation. Let's go ahead and put the boxes right over here, and let's move to the most important thing. How do these smell? What do they smell similar to? Are they worth 35 bucks? Well, if you are unaware of what these are, they do give you a great big hint as far as just the color scheme, which is really obvious when you know what these are. This one, Rugir, that is Leighton. Yeah, now you already know. This one here in the middle, Feroce, that is Halton, and this one over here on the end, Monarch, that is Altair. So they have essentially made a Parfums de Marly clone line, and they've tackled three of the biggest fragrances that Parfums de Marly has for fall and winter time, which honestly, if that's what you're gonna go after, those are pretty good choices. So it would not surprise me in the smallest, teeniest, tiniest bit if in the future, Armaf comes out with more Lions Club fragrances that are PDM scents. They could release 3 summertime ones and do Greenlee, Sedley, and Percival. So if you see more Lions Club fragrances come out in the future, the assumption is probably going to be that they're PDM, which is all fine and dandy, but are they actually good PDM alternatives? Well, since we started left to right, now let's go right to left. So we'll do Rugir over here against Leighton. So when it comes to Parfums de Marly Leighton, there are many alternatives out there on the market. Probably the first and biggest one was Detour Noir from Al Haramain, which is quite affordable. Now, there have been fragrances that have come out after Detour Noir that a lot of people would say are actually better than Detour Noir, but Detour Noir does really hit on that bang for buck, because that one is about $20. Really, really cheap. Now, that being said, if you put it up side by side with this one, Rugir is higher quality than Detour Noir, but to be fair, you would expect it to be. It's almost twice as much as far as the cost goes. You can tell looking at the presentation that that costs more than the Detour Noir bottle, which frankly looks pretty cheap. And actually on my Detour Noir bottle, almost all the lettering on the front has worn off. So it doesn't actually take much to look more expensive than that, to be fair. But yeah, Rugir is definitely higher quality, a better overall fragrance than Detour Noir when you put it up side by side. When you spray one here, you can tell that has more going on and just overall smells, like I said, higher quality. Now, side by side with Layton, it is extremely similar, but there are some differences. One of the biggest ones is Layton, when you first spray it on, does have sort of like a mentholated vibe to it. So it has like this sort of menthol kind of aspect lingering in the background when you spray that fragrance on. You can also easily pick it up off of a tester strip like right now. Rugir does not have that going on. When you spray this one on, it has none of that mentholated sort of vibe to it. It's also maybe not quite as heavy in the sense of the base notes. So in Layton, you have a little bit more of this ambery, vanilla, warm, sweet base with also a bit of woodiness. And it's not that you don't get that in Rugir, it's just this one is a little bit, maybe slightly fresher when you first spray it on, with the lavender, the fruits, the vanilla coming through, and Layton just a little bit more heavy overall. Now, don't take that as me saying that Rugir is weak, because it's not. Actually, all three of these fragrances have really, really good performance. And this is splitting hairs a little bit when you do the comparison and you're like, well, you got a little more of this, a little more of that. But at the end of the day, when you smell it in the air, you're just gonna be like, oh, it smells like Layton. Now, all this being said, Rugir smells fantastic. And while yes, it is almost double the price of Detour Noir, at the end of the day, I still paid 35 bucks for it. So really, really cheap. You know, you could essentially think of it as like almost 10% the cost of Layton, depending on where you buy Layton and how much you pay for it. And this actually hits a really sweet spot for a Layton alternative because it's cheaper than some of the more expensive alternatives to Layton that people will typically say smell fantastic, you know, again, better than Detour Noir, whatever. It's cheaper than those, but just as good in terms of the quality of anything else out there that's an alternative to this, if not higher. And while it's more expensive than Detour Noir, it's not catastrophically more expensive, which makes it one of, if not the best alternatives to Layton right now. Let's move on to Feroce. I think that's maybe how some American people would say it. Feroce, Feroce, Feroce. So like I said, this is an alternative to Halton right here. And once again, it is very, very well done. But once again, there are some minor differences. And what are those? Well, to my nose, this one is a little bit sweeter than Halton. Halton is more aggressive in the way that the woodiness comes across. You know, it's this very spicy, woody blast that you get from Halton, a little bit reminiscent to Oud for Greatness with more of a masculine lean. The Armaf takes a little bit of the edge off, not as aggressive with the woody aspects. Like I said, a little bit sweeter, not crazy sweet. Well, I mean, if you consider Oud for Greatness and Halton crazy sweet, then maybe you would consider this crazy sweet. But compared to most things out there, it is not. Not quite as mature, not quite as grown up as Parfums de Marly Halton, but still right there with it as far as how the scent profile comes across. It's just things are balanced out a little bit differently. Instead of being more dry, woodsy, spicy, like I said, a little bit smoother, a touch sweeter, but that's really the difference between the two. I'm gonna mush them out there. And that brings us to Monarch, the last of the bunch here, which, like I said, is Altair, which is quite sweet. And this is one of those clone fragrances where the difference is most obvious in the initial blast, that initial opening. After 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. You smell them side by side, and they are really stupidly close to the point that, maybe you can tell the difference here or there, but it's really gonna be splitting hairs for 99% of people. Because I'm actually wearing both of these right now. I have Monarch here, I have Altair right here, and I can tell the difference, but also I know what I sprayed where, and I know kind of what to look for. Yeah. If I didn't know what I had sprayed where, and I didn't know what to look for, I would just be like, oh, you sprayed the same thing on here and here. It's really stonking good. But in the opening, you can tell the difference, and it's not crazy difficult to tell the difference in that opening. So what is the difference? Well, Monarch over here leans, again, a little bit fresher, which is like an ongoing theme with these. It has more of a focus on the almond and the orange blossom. So it's very clean, a little bit fresh, definitely sweet, and you get that kind of creamy aspect from those two notes. They come out more here. Whereas with Altair, it leans more early into the spices. So the cinnamon, the cardamom, and also the elemi. You get a little bit more of that coming across initially here in Altair. But like I said, it's really just in the opening, and it still is something where you're kind of going back and forth. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I get a little, okay, yeah. That kind of deal, right? Something that realistically in day-to-day life is never gonna happen. And then as they dry down, really, really similar. And I would actually say that once you do start to hit that dry down, that this one probably is the closest to the fragrance that it is emulating. Not that these aren't really close also, because they are. It's just this one, after that initial opening, real close. Now there is, of course, Liquid Brun, which is also really, really well done. And the price on this one has dropped usually to about 40 bucks at most discounters. So that would put it at about $5 more than this one for what I paid. And I also sprayed this one on at the same time as this one and this one. So it was just like an Altair overload. And I would say that one is not clearly better than the other between these. I would say Liquid Brun has a little bit more of that spicy aspect, just a little bit. So if that's what you're looking for, maybe this is a better match for you. Extremely well done, just ever so slightly different than this one. If you already own Liquid Brun, would this one be redundant? I mean, yeah, but it is still a really good Altair alternative. Now, like I said, all of these have great performance, very nice projection, very good longevity. And for 35 bucks, with the presentation quality that they have, the fragrance quality that they have, this is some of the better stuff that Armaf has put out. And I don't dislike, Club de Nuit Lionheart or anything like that, but I think, for what you pay, I think these are better. Other than that strap can be kind of annoying. But other than that, nice. Let's go ahead and do the giveaway. So I have these two already. Obviously these right here. But you remember what happened with this one that I told you about before? How it took a long time to get to me? Yeah. So the second one that I have ordered, it's also taken a while to get to me. But when it does, I will add it in with these two right here. So it'll be all three, basically just this whole set. Cost me the whopping price of $105 before I used my coupon, because I had some other stuff in there too. Be aware of the corners of the boxes. I don't want you to get a little boo-boo. Be very sad. But if you want to be entered in the giveaway, just like the video, leave a comment below. You gotta leave a comment or you're not entered. And be subscribed to the channel. In your comment, just say, I guess, which Parfums de Marly you like the most. Why that? I don't know. Give me at least a couple weeks. I'm gonna pick winners with other videos where I have pending giveaways, and I'll post them all up at the same time on the community tab of the YouTube channel. And then if you are the winner, just hit me up and I will gladly throw these into a USPS box and send it to you, whoever you end up being. So there we go, guys. Monarch, Feroce, Rugir. Surprisingly, all three really well done. There is not a clear best or worst here, because it truly is just, hey, which PDM do you like the most? That's the one of these that you'll like the most. I would say to my own taste, these two, because I like Altair and Leighton more. And for the price probably this one, Just because, like I said, it's kind of in a sweet spot. You know, it is more expensive than Detour Noir, but it's better than Detour Noir, and it's cheaper than a lot of the other latent alternatives that are usually heralded as the best. So it's like right there in that middle ground, but then it's just as good as the more expensive ones. So that's why probably that one if I had to pick. So I guess if I rank these out, it'd be 1, 2, 3, but all three are really good. So there we go. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.